Hello and welcome back to my basement. Hey, this is Jeremiah. Okay, so I had someone reach out to me with a question today. They were commenting on my, I think it was today or yesterday, commenting on my Linux Plus video from like 6, 8 months ago. And I thought it was interesting conversation, so I kind of wanted to share that with you guys, give you my 2 cents on this. And basically, what it comes down to is there's a gentleman who is trying to get into IT, and he's been struggling. And so let's take a look at what's going on with him and see if there's anything we can do to offer some advice. So, this is on the YouTube, so I don't feel bad about showing this guy's information because it's a public comment anyway. All right, so Derek says I have CompTIA A plus, Net plus, Security plus, and CCNA, and still can't get a job. I tried for network administrator positions and nothing. And now can't even get an interview, even for desktop support jobs. I'm currently studying for cybersecurity. I think is that what that is? SA. It's like cybersecurity analyst or something. I don't know. And Linux, but this is making me think twice. This, I assume, being my video, where I kind of bash CompTIA a little bit. Okay, so my response. Hey, Derek, I don't recall if I discussed this in the video, but I strongly recommend against too many entry level, i.e., e.g., CompTIA certifications. I would suggest modifying your resume to only list your CCNA and maybe one other cert, probably your A plus or your Security plus, depending on what you're applying for. Too many certifications, unless you have years of experience, just make it look like you're good at taking tests, but probably won't, perform well in the real world. Also, if you've got the time and money for more certifications, stop with the CompTIA certs and start moving deeper into a field. So Derek wrote back. I said a little bit more, but Derek wrote back, and he says, Jeremiah, thank you. I really appreciate your direction. I'm already deep into Linux and CompTIA's cybersecurity, whatever the CySA is. If you were me, would you stop going after those two certs from CompTIA and try a different similar cert like CEH? I also saw a Linux System Admin cert from the Linux Foundation that would probably be better than the CompTIA Linux cert. I'm tired of being overlooked from employers that I even enrolled in an actual state college to get a degree in cybersecurity. Ugh, that's him, not me. All these steps I'm taking to get a job is expensive in the sense that it is taking away from all of my time to even hang out with family. All right, well, that's interesting. So, couple things here about what he's saying. First off, I would never dissuade anyone from getting a college education. I do not have a college education, and right now my plan involves me going back to school. I am 45 years old, 40, 45, 40, something like, I'm around there, 44, 45, I always forget. Um, and I'm planning on going back to school probably next year. I'm working on my CCIE. Once that's done, the next step almost certainly is to go back to school. It is one of those things that I have not been hurt in my career by skipping college. I attended for a couple semesters, for a year. Went for a year, dropped out, and I was kind of lucky. I'm a real self-starter. I honestly just got lucky also. Like, I'm not trying to give myself total credit because the simple truth is I got lucky. Um, but I got some good positions. I worked hard, and I managed to build a very successful career even without college, to the point where my friends who have advanced degrees usually made less money than I did. Um, so that was good for me, but also it made things more difficult. The last time I was really looking for a job, the job market was tight, and they didn't care so much about my certs. Well, they did. They wanted the certs, but they also wanted the college degree. And the fact that I didn't have it, they didn't care what the degree was in, but they wanted it. So for that reason, I'm planning on going back. And a friend of mine who I graduated high school with and who also dropped out of college and who also coincidentally is extremely successful in her career, makes a ton of money, very successful. Similar thing though, she's always kind of regretted not going to school or not finishing school. So she actually started just like 2 years ago. I didn't even know she was, we talk all the time, and I didn't even know she was doing it because she was just doing it nights and weekends when she had time, all 100% online. And now she's almost done with her bachelor's. Like, it's only been a few years. Like, you know, so yeah, she's really encouraged me to go back, and so I'm going to do it. So look, if you have the time and the money and you're still young, I would probably recommend it. I would probably recommend it. Now look, if you got to get it out there into the job field, you know, if you got to get out there into the job market, going back to school is just not, or going to school is not an option for you financially or for whatever reason, then yeah, certifications are a great way to bypass, you know, 3 or 4 years and potentially tens of thousands of dollars and get right out there within a matter of sometimes months. So you got to weigh that for yourself, but I'm not going to dissuade Derek or anyone from getting a college education. It's important. So, or it can be very important. Now, what else does Derek have to say here? So he's talking about maybe going back to school. He's also talking about looking at a different Linux cert rather than CompTIA. Maybe getting his CEH, which I believe is Certified Ethical Hacker certification. So let's go over my advice to Derek, and we're going to break this down into, I think, probably 4 steps. Where's my... Why is it not coming up? That's weird. There we go. Okay. So step 1. This is my opinion and my advice. I'm not telling anybody what to do. This is my opinion and my advice. So let's get a different color and a little thicker. Step 1 is you got to pick a discipline. This is something that a lot of young people really struggle with. You got to pick a discipline. Is that how you spell discipline? Pick a discipline with a little extra squiggle at the end. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the thing. There is so much in IT. So Derek, I'm sorry, Derek. So let's see here. Derek has his A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CCNA, and now he's working on his Linux Plus and his Psi SA. I really should look up what that is. It's like, whoa, dude. What do you want to do? Now, for a lot of people, the thought process is, and this is very understandable, the thought process is, well, I'm just going to get a certification in everything, and then somebody's bound to give me a job in something because I have certs in everything. Now, that makes sense when we just sit down and think about it, but from a hiring manager's point of view, that doesn't make sense, because when they look at your resume, they see someone who is completely unfocused, who has all these entry-level certifications. Now, listen, I know that there are people out there who get a bunch of entry-level certifications and they get a job. But I will tell you, as someone who has been many times a hiring manager, that to me looks weird. It looks bad. What is going on here? Why are you all over the place? If I'm going to hire you, I want you to be able to do something well. I don't want you to know a little bit about everything. I mean, everybody knows a little bit about everything. What do you do well? So when I see A+, Net+, Security+, CCNA, I'm just thinking, okay, this person is just taking tests. They have no idea how to actually do work. And so I'm just going to set them aside. That doesn't interest me. That's just me, and I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm trying to help you guys out. So my advice to Derek, again, was to pick a discipline. Now, he has his CCNA and his Network Plus. So maybe he enjoys networking. But he talks about here he wants to go into Linux and certified ethical hacking, which is probably more Linux. At least a lot of it is. So maybe he wants to do Linux. And he says he's tried to get jobs as, what does he say here? Desktop, network admin. Okay, so he's tried for network admin and desktop support. So why would someone not hire you for desktop support? Well, they see you taking all these tests, and so they're thinking, this guy's looking to get out. He's not going to be here for a long time. So if you were looking for desktop support, you might want to list just your A+, list nothing else. Because if you start listing all these certs, the hiring manager says, this guy's going to be here for 3 months and quit. So, now, and if you're looking for a network position, again, you might want to list your CCNA and I don't see even the Net Plus. Like, again, I have this really strong bias against CompTIA. So I'm a little turned off by it. But if you listed your Network Plus and CCNA, or your CCNA and your Security Plus, showing that you're trying to get abroad, but only in a couple areas, that might look better for you. So, but here's the thing. You need to pick a discipline. So what is it that you want to do? Step one, pick a discipline. And I understand, again, it's hard to pick, but let me just make you feel a little better here. In my career, I have worked with a CCIE who started his career as a chemical engineer. Okay? I worked with a guy in sales who was an anthropologist with a master's degree. Okay? I worked with what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, an electrical engineer who was doing telephone systems. My own wife, her undergrad is in biology, but she works in the electricity industry. So, and when I started my career, I was a server guy, Microsoft and Novell, and then I eventually became, there was no real Linux. I mean, there was a little bit of Linux back then, but not much. And then I eventually became a Cisco guy. And then I learned some Juniper, and I learned some NetWare, and I learned some F5. So here's the thing. Your career is going to go in directions that you, at this point in your life, probably can't imagine. Things are going to happen, opportunities are going to come your way, and your career is going to shift and ebb and flow, hopefully in directions that you want it to. Some of those ebbs and flows will be because you push it in that direction. Others will be by circumstance. But don't worry too much about, if I start doing cloud now, what if I don't like cloud? I'm always going to be stuck doing cloud. Like, no. Or what if I'm routing and switching, and I hate routing and switching, and now I got to spend the next 30 years doing routing and switching. It doesn't work that way. You're going to start there. You're going to get some experience. You're going to look at other opportunities. Once you understand what you like and what opportunities exist, you can get some training, and then shift your career. So pick something that you want to focus on now, something you have some interest in, you're going to be able to stick with, and just make the choice. You got to make the choice. You could spend years and thousands of dollars vacillating all over the place. Unsure of where and what you want to do and where you want to go. Like, that's not going to help you. So step one, pick a discipline. Step two, you got to do some research. So in the discipline that you've picked, who is the number one vendor in that industry? If you're talking about cloud computing, it's probably Amazon. If you're talking about networking, it's probably Cisco, unless maybe you're interested in, if you're specifically looking at service provider networking, then it might be Juniper or somebody else. So, who is the number one vendor in that industry? Who are their primary competitors? So Cisco, it's going to be, depending, because there's lots of different ones actually, Juniper, HP, what is it, Arista, I don't know. Um, Luckily right now, Cisco's still big enough that you can pretty much just focus on them. So, but you got to figure out, okay, so who is it? So if it's cloud stuff, you're looking at Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Now, okay, take that information and, oh, did I close the, wrong one? Oh, that's weird. Okay, I somehow managed to close something that I was using as for notes, and it's might be gone. All right, so now that you have that information, what are you going to do? You're going to look into their certification programs. So let's do just that. Now we're going to look at Cisco. So we come to cisco.com. We go to support and learn. We go to certifications. We have entry, associate, professional, expert. So we're just going to look real quick at the professional ones. I'm expecting you to do this on your own with Amazon or Google or whomever. And see, Cisco has multiple mid-level certifications: enterprise, data center, security, service provider, collaboration. So you're going to look, see, okay, what was the discipline that I picked? What are the potential certifications? I'm an enterprise kind of guy, so we're going to look at enterprise. And here we have a core test, and then we have lots of different potential specializations. So look at the certifications. What's involved in, look at the whole path. Cisco is CCNA, then CCNP, then CCIE. But as you can see, just from that, what I showed you, there's lots of different ways to get there. There's lots of different specializations. So what interests you? Take a look, write it down, take notes, look at the path. You know, what is doable? The CCNA is what, one test. You look at the study material, you could probably get the, study material for a few $100s. So, CCNA, you're looking at maybe $500-600 for the test and study material. Pretty doable. A couple of 3 months maybe to study, depending on where you're at. CCNP, it's going to be a little bit more. It's 2 tests minimum. So you're looking at, maybe it's going to be close to $1,000, and it's going to take maybe 6 or maybe even 9 months, kind of depending on, where you're at. CCIE, that's really probably unlikely because it takes just a lot of experience and thousands of dollars in training and study and labs. So maybe that's not quite, you're not there yet. So, but look at the different path. What are the options available? How far can you go now with where you're at now? You start at the entry level, work your way up. What can you afford? What can you do? Figure out that path. Write it down so you have that written down. So what are we going to do next? Well, we need to do step 3. So here we're researching certs. And now we're going to research jobs. And it'd be helpful if you could see that. So we picked a discipline. We researched the certs in that discipline. Now we're going to research jobs. So what are we going to do? Well, we'll head over to Indeed here. We're going to look for, as you can see, I was already looking, but let's come to Ohio, where I live. Let's look for CCNA. And we have 218 jobs. Okay, not bad. Let's look for CCNP. 86 jobs. Okay, not bad. CCIE. 21 jobs. Not too bad. Now, let's just, for sake of completeness, let's look at Juniper certification. So one of Cisco's top competitors is Juniper. They probably have one of the outside of Cisco, probably have one of the better training and certification programs. So let's look at JNCIA, I believe it is. All right, so the entry level Juniper, 11 jobs. JCN IP, their mid level, 1 job. IE, it's that same 1 job. For Arista Networks, which is actually kind of funny because. So there's not a lot of jobs there. So where do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your effort? Where do you want to spend your money studying? Well, in this case, it probably should be with Cisco. And that's what you're going to want to do for your whatever it is. If you're looking at cloud, if you're whatever you're looking for, Linux, that's what you're going to look. Look for the jobs that are listing the certifications. That's what you're going to know what to study. So, now that being said, listen, you're looking for a career in IT. I'm assuming you're an intelligent person. So you need to slow down and use your head. No one's going to hold your hand and tell you exactly what to do. You got to think your way through this. So if you're looking for CCNA and you put that in the job search, you got to read those job listings. Like what are they actually looking for? Maybe that'll give you some clues as to if there's something you need to specialize in, or if there's another certification that could help is going to help you get seen, among all the other applicants. So that's step 3. First, you decide on a discipline, then you're going to research the certifications, then you're going to research the jobs. Step 4 should be obvious. You're going to get to work. Is study. So get to work. Start studying. Get the certifications that are going to help you get the job. It kind of blows my mind because I see this all the time. There's a Reddit IT jobs group that I'm on, subreddit. And I see this pretty frequently with people who have they have like all the CompTIA certs and they can't find a job and they can't understand why. And I'm not criticizing Derek because I understand why you would think that that's a good path, but I'm telling you it's not a good path. What you want to do is you gotta start specializing. You got to move up. Who wants to hire? They want to hire someone who has skills. Someone with 4, 5, 6 different entry-level certifications doesn't really have skills. They have pieces of paper. I want you to have skills. So you get 1 or 2 entry-level certifications, and then you start going deeper into that specialization. So you get your CCNA, then you start working toward your CCNP. Now, let's say you're looking at all these jobs. And so you get your CCNP enterprise, routing and switching. But there's a lot of demand for wireless. Okay. Then also, once you finish with that, you're still looking for a job. You haven't had any offers yet. Okay, well then do the next one. Get the Cisco wireless specialization or whatever it is. Maybe there's a lot of Aruba jobs. There's a lot of Cisco routing and switching, but they also want you to know Aruba wireless. Okay, well, see if there's an Aruba certification. So that's pretty much my advice when it comes to this stuff is just what you see here. Pick a discipline. I understand that can feel overwhelming, but I promise you, you're not going to be stuck. Research the certifications, research the jobs. Apparently I wrote JOPS. I don't know what a JOP is. That should be a B. Research the JOPS. Good luck finding a JOP. Oh, dude, I am tired. Jobs, whatever. I'm sitting here watching my baby on the monitor. I know he's going to wake up any second. If you could tell, I'm fucking tired. It is, life is not great right now. It's a lot better than other people's. I shouldn't be complaining, but it's not great. Um, now, there's one other thing that I want to address here with Derek. And oops, sorry, come back over here. Here he says, all these steps I'm taking to get a job is expensive in the sense that it is taking away all of my time to even hang out with family. Let me be real with you. I'm going to be real with you about this. I'm getting the impression, based on what this says, that Derek is a young man. I'm assuming, since he hasn't really gone to school yet, university, probably in his early 20s. I'm guessing. I don't know. This is your time. Let me talk to all you gentlemen out there. And this really is mostly for the men. This is your time. When you're a young man, this is when you need to be working. Going out with friends, hanging out with family is wonderful. It's beautiful. And it should be something you set aside time to do once every couple of weeks. Because right now, you are never going to have this much energy. Your brain is never going to be working this good. You're never going to be this mentally flexible. Now is the time to work hard, get in shape, get your career in order, get your education in order. Focus on all of these things. If you do this now as a young man when you're 20 and 25 years old, by the time you're 30, by the time you're 28, 29, 30 years old, you're going to look good. You're going to be making good money. You're going to have time for friends, family, and you're going to be very attractive to the ladies out there who what do they want? They want a good-looking guy who has a good job and is making good money. That's going to be you if you work hard now. That's how it works. Work hard now. Sacrifice now. A couple of years ago, I was driving with my brother. We were on a bit of a road trip. We're in the car for hours and hours together. We're just talking about life. My brother's life and my life are very different. We had the same upbringing. We went to the same church. We ate the same food. We had the same parents. We had the same abusive parents. We both got the crap beat out of us by our father and at times our mother. We had that life together, the same life. When I left home, I sacrificed. I worked hard. I didn't party. I didn't drink. I didn't go to clubs. I studied. I worked hard. By the time I was 23 years old, I was a senior engineer making good money at 23 years old. By the time I was 30, I was making very good money. I was in a happy relationship with a beautiful woman. I drove a nice car. I lived in a nice place. Because I had sacrificed when I was younger. My brother, when he was younger, partied. He drank. He smoked weed. He hung out with his friends. He would, get a job here, get a job there. So a couple of years ago, I'm already in my 40s. He's getting pretty close to his 40s. And his life is a struggle. He's struggling. He struggles with relationships. He struggles with paying bills. He struggles with keeping a roof over his head at times. Meanwhile, I'm married. I live in a great home. I travel the world. I don't worry. Why? Because I sacrificed when I was young so that I could enjoy decades of a good, happy life. Do you really think when you're 40 years old, you're going to look back and be like, oh, I really wish that I'd only partied a little bit more when I was 20? No. You're going to be, I wish I had sacrificed more when I was 20 so that I could have the toys now that I'm in my 40s, so that I could travel the world, so that I could have the nice car, so that I could do things for my family. Gentlemen, young men, sacrifice, hard work, commitment now, and you have years of good times ahead of you. All right, listen, I hope that answers Derek's question. I hope maybe that gives you a little bit of something to think about. Maybe you disagree with everything I said. That's great. Put it in the comments below. Hey, I'll see you next time.